G'day folks, welcome back to the channel for episode number 10 of our dual-wielding Acid Dervish, where it's been a while for me. My real job gets kind of hectic around Easter, so yeah, I had a fairly large backlog of episodes ready to go when Easter hit, because I knew this would be coming, and they're all gone now, so I think I have tomorrow's episode, which you've already seen, and then I'm out. So, time to play some more Grim Dawn. Right, so I've reviewed the previous episode because, as I said, it's been a while, and kind of caught myself up to where we were. And we are heading towards the Necropolis, so let's head that way. Did get one comment on an earlier video about the about some item choices, and wanted to say thank you for that. Anyone who wishes to comment and point things out, please, by all means. I've mentioned before, I'm actually really bad at this game. So one of the comments was about a ring you can get in Homestead. I think it's called the Venom Seal, something Venom Seal. Anyway, it's up here. Where are we? Here it is, the Harvest Venom Seal. I can't afford it. I would actually probably use that over the Ring of Eternal Rot there. That Poison Nova proc is very nice, but the Ring of Eternal Rot just has no resistances on it. And the Poison and Acid resistance and the skill bonuses on the Harvest Venom Seal are considerably better. Actually, I can afford that, it's a reputation I don't have. So you need Honored at level 40. Chances of having Honored are pretty low unless you're specifically farming for it. So yes, this would also be a very good option. If you are lucky enough to have the reputation required to use it, then yes, by all means, go ahead. As I've just discovered, I didn't have the reputation for it. Actually, I saw the cost was in red and just assumed that I couldn't afford it, but yeah, don't have the reputation, unfortunately. It is a good ring, it's definitely worth using. Unfortunately, I can't. So, let's start heading towards the Necropolis. I have been playing some of the Ritualist, the Pet Ritualist, and watching the health bar on this guy is a little bit worrying, because I'm used to seeing it barely move or not move at all. Let's grab all the gear. Now we've got some gear upgrades. Our main sort of main MIs are not upgradable until level 51 at this point, but level 50 is coming when we will start getting legendaries. There's a few good legendaries at 51, or sorry, at 50, but it'll just be down to luck as to whether or not they drop. You do get some guaranteed legendaries I think for killing the Loghorrean. You get a legendary. It's not a specific one, it's completely random, so you could get something good, or it could be rubbish. Okay, so we're in the Plains of Strife. There is a Chthonic Rift out here, which is somewhere you will need to go once you get the Rover's reputation to Honored. So for now, if I do find it, I'm going to skip it, much like I should be skipping all of this trash. The Rift, as always, is in one of, I think, 3 potential spawn locations for it. It's kind of pointless to go in there if you don't have the quest for the Rovers, so I'll just be running past it. And let's get into the Necropolis. Now, Necropolis has both Aether damage and also large amounts of Chaos damage, depending on which part of it you're in. Those are the only resistances that I don't have capped at this point, which is unfortunate. but it is what it is. There's, again, a lot of the lore notes in here kind of go through what the Necropolis is, who built it, things that happened around when it was being built, that sort of thing. They're a pretty good read. Nice little small stories. I'm getting my butt kicked by this thing. Definitely recommend reading the lore notes. If this is your first time through, the story of Grim Dawn is mostly comes from those lore notes. So our mission for this particular episode is to kill the Loghorrean, and then we'll probably, I don't know why I clicked on that, I should not have clicked on that. We'll probably be going into Elite to get some early items from Elite. Specifically, the Elite version of the Slith Primal Ring is a good thing to go and get. There's also 8 devotion shrines in Elite Act 1, and they are always good. I don't think any of that gear that dropped is any good. We do now have the entire Herald set though. If I went and did the transmute quest to unlock transmuting, then yeah, we could have that entire set, but I think we're well past the point where it matters. So I'm not going to bother. Also, I don't know if I have enough iron bits to be transmuting at least twice and probably 3 or 4 times to get the full set. Again, I'm not entirely sure why I'm killing all this stuff. Though having said that, this character has got here with a much lower level than I'm used to. Typically killing the Loghorrean on most of my characters high 40s, early 50s, and we're only 41 going into here. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so now that I'm remembering to push the buttons, you can see it's a fairly mobile class. Okay. Gonna head up here just to the, I forget what it's called, there's a crypt up here that has a devotion shrine in it, and I want the devotion shrine. I think we'll be putting more points into Ascension. I'm probably going to take it to the soft cap and then most likely leave it there. Damage absorption is a very strong defensive layer in this game. It applies, I think, after all your other mitigation, and it's flat absorption, so just reduce incoming damage after mitigation, I'm pretty sure, by, what, 100? Yeah, it's 100 at the moment, and it'll be more with a higher level. It's a big part of the reason why Inquisitor's Seal is so strong as well. So, you get hit with a lot of small things. I'm actually going to drop a portal here and come back. By which I mean I'm going to forget that I had the portal here, remove it, and have to run back in 2 episodes' time when I remember I didn't get the devotion shrine. You can see there's a devotion shrine on the map just up ahead, so we'll go get that, and we'll get the next rift, and then come back for that, that little crypt, which has another devotion shrine. And looking at the devotion points we have available, we're going to be starting on Murmur, finally. Murmur is one of those devotions that I really wanted to get earlier, pretty much as soon as I could. But on this build at least, I still kind of feel squishy, even with taking the ghoul, and we have a lot of lifesteal. Right, so Murmur, the end goal is, where's the proc? There's a proc in this. Somewhere. Is it that one? Yeah, there it is, Rumor. So we'll put this onto Shadow Strike, and then when we Shadow Strike into a group of enemies like this, it will basically spread like a dot. How do I describe it? It spreads between enemies, if that makes sense. Similar to Ill Omen or what's the occultist skill? I can't remember the name of the occultist skill, but it's Bloody Pox. There we go. It spreads similar to that, and it shreds enemy poison, acid, and cold resistances, and so we definitely want that. And my health bar is yo-yoing again. Okay. So we've got some help now. I'll talk to Olgrim, and we will agree to stop the cult. But first, I actually remembered my portal. So we are going to go to this crypt, which again I can never remember the name of the area, the Black Sepulchre. A lot of bleeding damage in here. A lot of these ghouls, a lot or all of these ghouls will put a pool of bleeding damage on the floor when they die. It's a lot of damage over time, so just make sure your bleeding resistances are good. Right. So we're at the soft cap now. Hang on, let's just check something out here. So the damage absorption is plus 10 per point, and then another plus 10, and then another plus 10, and it's actually increasing. So this might be one of the rare skills that actually gets more powerful the more points you put in it. Or it could just be that it hasn't yet hit the point of diminishing returns for that skill. See all that red on the ground? That's all bleeding damage. Well, and the green as well. It's Aether. As I said, Aether and Chaos are the two resistances we have that are not capped. Having said that, they are still pretty decent. I tell everyone that you should have 100% capped to all your resistances by the end of Homestead, which is definitely the goal, but a lot of builds you're just not going to be able to do it. Or you could do it, but you would have to change out so much gear that you're incredibly weak offensively. Okay, I think maybe we skip a few of these packs. Oh, can't skip this one, they're in the way. So you can see there on the map the Devotion Shrine. This map is kind of like a really big loop. You have to go all the way around the edge, and then you can kind of come back in towards the middle and actually get the thing you're here for. I was also watching the footage with regards to when I got the Scorpion proc. I said that I couldn't see this procking off of one of these procs. I think it's Belgothian Shears. It definitely does, and I'm really bad at keeping Amarast's Blade Burst active, so I'm just going to swap it back to the proc, and I'm honestly thinking about taking the points out of the Scorpion just because I always forget to use it, so it's kind of... I remember it on bosses, so it's nice to have there, but having the proc... It's a damage proc, and I don't use the skill enough for it to... I'm not clicking on that one. I don't use the skill enough for it to be getting a whole lot of use, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put it on one of the procs. So I think I picked Belgothian Shears. And we'll just leave it there for a bit. See, it's definitely going off, I just saw it then. definitely don't remember this guy being this tanky. Anyway, he's dead now, and 1 roiling blood for another point in Murmur. So what does this one actually give us? 5 green. Do I need 5 green? I don't think I do. I think I'm going to go and drop that. Actually, what does it give us? Small amount of OA, some physique. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. So I'm going to go respec out of that and put them all into Murmur. I think I will end up needing those points to go back in there at some point. I don't have my plan document up just now.
Farewell.
But I may have to take those again at some point. You know what it is? It's because we have the fox. Right, so the proc goes on Shadow Strike. And we'll take those two. So because I have the fox, I don't need the scorpion to get Murmur. The fox was actually not part of the plan, I just took it for the attack damage converted to health. All that bleeding stuff is basically useless, so we get 25 cunning, 40 cunning, and 15 spirit, and the attack damage converted to health. And like I said, I just don't care about that bleeding. We're not scaling it, so it's effectively worthless. Right. Guess we could take the jackal again. I'll have to hang on. Let me pull up the plan, as it were. Where are we? Okay. I think the rat next, actually. Where's the rat? It's a little bit of red, a little bit of green, some stats, some poison damage. Yeah, we'll take the rat. Okay. So that long spiel about how the proc on Belgothian Shears was more effective, and it just doesn't matter anymore. Don't want any of that. So yeah, thanks for listening to my TED talk about that proc and how it's better to have it on one skill versus the other and then just completely removing it. Right, Tomb of the Watchers. Or rather the Inner Necropolis. There isn't a huge amount of note here, aside from the quest to kill the 3 blood wagons, which we're going to go and do now. Let me actually show you the proc from Rumor. I think the proc itself is called Murmur. So if I Shadow Strike this guy, you'll see this little blue aura. It's kind of spreading around. That's the Resistance Shred, which is incredibly powerful. And that's the reason we wanted Rumor. Excuse me, just having a bit of a coughing fit there. Right, so you may not have noticed when I did it, but just here is one of the wagons we were sent to kill. There's 2 more, they're always in the same spot, and I always miss at least one of them and have to go find it. In the Necropolis interior area there is always a Void Touch totem, and I do like totems. Chaos Res is our lowest though, so just be careful. Totems, especially the Chaos ones, if you get the, what are they called? The ones with wings. If you get a bunch of them, they can very quickly kill you if you're not ready to run away. Okay, so The wagons, there's one called the Northern Wagon. It's this one. The Eastern Wagon was the one we already killed. And the, was it Southern? No, the Western one is just down here. It is a bit of a trek. But while you have the quest, they will show up on your map as a star. And with those 3 dead, we now have access to this inner area. The door into the, I forget what the area itself is called, but see, the area where the final boss of the act is. This area here, the door was there the whole time, but it had like a force field over it, so you wouldn't have been able to actually use the door. We are now pumping cunning, so we've got 40 points in physique. I'm probably going to stop there. We'll see how we go for health and defensive ability, but probably 40 is enough. Because this build relies heavily on lifesteal, cunning for more damage is not a bad choice, or it's a good choice. So the Tomb of the Watchers is what this place is called. This particular level has one notable boss, plus all the usual elites and such. And there is a lot more story in here as well. Again, the story is pretty good. The Loghorrean, this is not the first time he's been summoned. Forsaken, we'll do that, no worries. And the lore notes kind of go through why this place was built and, you know, the story behind it. Definitely good read. I am standing in poison while I'm looking at all this loot, which is definitely a good way to die. And I have died to that sort of thing before. Okay, there is a little secret wall in here that I love clicking on. I don't know why, because there's like, literally never anything good behind that wall. But for some reason I just have to click on it. So you can see the outcast reputation going up. Again, don't do her quests. She will tank your Black Legion reputation every single time you help her. But you will easily max her out. And for this build, she doesn't matter. She has no gear that I want. Her augments, I'm pretty sure, are overshadowed by the witch cult augments. So she's basically has no meaning. There's no purpose for her for this build. So realistically, you don't even have to unlock her. I think even just going and talking to her and then not killing her, I think removes 250 Black Legion. So you can safely just completely ignore her. Alright. So just looking at the plan, as it were, over on the other screen, looks like the next big devotion shrine we're heading for is the Abomination, I think. There's a lot of poison acid damage in that. There's another damage proc as well. And I think the only part of it we're not interested in is the chaos damage. So I think we'll end up taking... Where's the Abomination? Here. So we need 3 more red, so that'll probably be the Jackal, and we will need the green. So I think I'm going to have to take the Scorpion again, but I'm going to get the Rat first. Yeah, so that's why I had the Scorpion. But that's fine. Taking Murmur, coming into a really big boss fight. Murmur itself is just a really good choice. But having it for the Loghorrean is definitely good as well. have to get back in the habit of pressing the 4 button. Playing the pets build is considerably less button pushes. The pets, I basically run in, use Bone Harvest, and then wait for the pets to kill everything. Although I did just pick up Mog Dragon's Howl, put it on Ill Omen. Alright, this Bane Galgalor is the one notable boss in this area. A lot of poison damage, and a lot of health as well. Although he has less than the ghoul that was in that crypt. Alright, so he can spawn here, he can also spawn, I forget exactly where it is. There's another summoning circle sort of back here or something. Maybe here, I think? I was going to mention it when I ran past and then I didn't. But there's 2 places he can spawn, potentially 3. And he's basically a big pile of hit points, and as long as your poison resists are maxed, which mine are, he'll be no real challenge. Alright. Can safely ignore those. This particular area, the Seal of the Loghorrean, aside from looking really creepy, it's a bit of a maze, and every time you come in here, the blockages are going to be in different areas, so you will need to take a different path through the area, which is... it is what it is. It's the same as every other area in Grim Dawn. When it generates the area, it will generate a bunch of block doors or, you know, rocks in passageways and stuff like that, so... This particular one, though, is kind of irritating. Just because of how many there are and how far out of your way you sometimes have to go. But that's fine. I think we can probably get through this way. You're kind of heading towards the top right in this area, but you do often have to go around the top left in order to get there. We'll see how we go. It's going to be a fair bit of backtracking if this is blocked. Looks good. Okay, so the Loghorrean, decent amount of chaos damage, which we're probably fine for. Vitality, we're fine for, and poison, we're fine for. Most of what kills people from the Loghorrean is actually the poison, which I will point out when we get there, but he has like a... I call it a shotgun, but basically he vomits a whole bunch of poison, and it all hits all at once. So the Chaos Cultists here have managed to resummon the Loghorrean, and we're going to go and unsummon the Loghorrean. Okay, Perdition set. Really nice for acid retaliation. I may end up making a retaliation warlord actually as one of the next builds, but if I do end up making a retaliation build, it'll either be a warlord or a sentinel, and it will use this set. Once you get to around level 40, basically just go farm a whole bunch of totems, and you'll have this set pretty quickly. It's a very common blue set. Okay, so you do need to kill Bloodlord Thalinus in order to remove the seal on this door. When we go in there, it's basically a boss fight. If you don't have max chaos, vitality, and poison, especially the poison, and probably chaos would be next important, definitely drink a potion Change your components around, whatever you need to do. Poison and chaos, you want them maxed. With that said though, I think we're pretty much ready, so let's go kill a giant squid monster. We've got Ulgrim here to help. If you have a look in his mouth there, you'll see it's poison at the moment. So now he's going to spew, and you don't want to get hit by that if you can avoid it. And remember to use Shadow Strike in order to proc Murmur, because all the resist shred in the world is no good if it's not actually being used. Okay, watching his mouth again. There it is, so just move out of the vomit. And Shadow Strike back in. If you have Ascension available, you can use that as well. Ascension will effectively block the damage from the poison vomit. Potentially not 100%, but it'll block a lot of it. Okay, he's got poison back. I don't have Ascension, so we're just going to teleport away. Okay, I've got Ascension this time, so I'm just gonna pop it and kill him. So there he goes. That is the end of the Loghorrean. Bunch of reputation, and we now have access to elite difficulty. So there we go. Pop the loot chests. Hopefully get something good, although usually not. What did we get? Fanatic's Overcoat, Combat Medic's Mark, and he did drop the shoulders. So Cage Souls is where the Blight Fiend skills come from on that. These are pretty good for Albrecht's Aether Ray builds. I imagine they're good for a Doom Bolt or a Flames of Ignifar build as well, but I haven't played those. The physical resistance is the stat on those that's kind of special. You can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. Right. That's our loot done. That's another one of those little pocket dimensions that you can't teleport out of, I think. I may have just made that up in my head, but I believe that's true. Regardless, go through the portal, teleport out if you can. However you want to get out of there. Come back to Fort Icon, and that's the end of the base game. Good job. Now this is a guaranteed purple item. We'll see what it is. That cutscene's kind of okay, I guess. It's I'm gonna skip it. If you want to see it, it's available on the internet, or play along. Okay, so our guaranteed purple from killing the Loghorrean was a book. Codex of Lies. Okay. Again, Albrecht's Aether Ray as maybe a spellbinder because the +1 to necro skills. Or, I think it's Sorcerer is a cultist arcanist. Looks pretty good. That's a nice book for a different build. Fanatic's Overcoat. It's actually not awful. I mean, the armor on it is awful. But at level 35, that would have been pretty good. Right, let's sell all this rubbish and think about what we're going to do next. Probably going to be Elite Act 1 will be next, I think. Although, we do have a skill point available from doing that as well. Okay, so 154 for 2 points. I think for now we just leave that. We could take another movement skill. This would give us 3. It's probably overkill though. So I think we'll leave that for now. This requires a shield. There's nothing else within reach on Arcanist that's, or on Oathkeeper that's interesting. Blade Trap, not amazing. More points in Nidala's justifiable ends would be good. This basically poisons whoever you hit when you Shadow Strike. Poison is good, we like poison. But, maybe Blade Barrier. Blade Barrier is kind of an interesting skill in that it basically puts you in stasis so you can't take damage, and it gives you a large amount of regeneration. But if you have to use this, you're in a bad situation, and giving the monsters more time to surround you doesn't really seem like a good plan. How many? 8 targets for this one. Considering putting points into the procs, or even potentially Shadow Dance, 10% chance to just avoid all attacks is pretty good. Okay, I think we'll just continue with the Oathkeeper, try and get the Guardians online. Which is what I should have been doing. But I like the shinies. I just want to get more skills, you know? Is that too much to ask? Right, you know what? We're going to put all this stuff. Yeah, no, we now have 3 of these. Again, you know what? I'm not going to use that set. And I'm not going to use those pants. And I'm not going to use that book either, so we'll sell all of that. Move all these quest items into the last tab. Don't know why I'm narrating inventory management. Let's get on with this. Did we get... We just got respected, have we? Where is Black Legion? Yeah, we've literally just hit respected. So, let's see what they have. Fortitude. Oh, that was a shielding one. Oleron's Blood I remember being pretty good. What do we have on our chest? Scaled. Okay. That's actually not all that good for this build. I want to say there was a... what are they called, these things? Component. I wanted to say there was a component that I wanted from these guys. But maybe I'm remembering a different playthrough. Anyway, we're onto the Ashes of Malmo stuff. I'm actually going to cut this episode here, and then we'll start Elite. We'll do Elite in the next episode. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and bye for now.